There's somebody making a decision that's going to change their life. The question is, did their morning prepare them for it? Let's find out. Mornings and All with Keith and Friends. Good morning. Hey, quick reality check. In the next hour, you're going to make roughly 30 decisions that are going to impact your future. Little ones, big ones, life-changing ones. I'm Keith Phyllis, and this isn't just another morning show. Nope. You stumbled upon the biggest morning show on the planet for men. And listen, just a quick reminder, we keep it raw and real here in the lab. If you got kids around, now's the time to put those headphones on or politely walk them out of the room. And hey, look at that biggest decision we've got coming up for you today. The one that matters, the one that you can't get wrong. Now ask yourself, Business Athlete Nation, did your morning prepare you for it? Or did you step around and hit the snooze button? Because that's what we are solving today. In the lab, we got John Anderson, C. Marty Fit, two guys who turn split-second decisions, into championship moments. And of course, producer Christina's calling the shots while Jimmy makes sure the ship keeps sailing and moving forward. And of course, Felix is over here as well, helping cut the show up. Today's different because we got Evan Marks with us. And here's what fascinates me about Evan. He took one simple decision. He starts his clients with a cold shower. We know how Marty feels about the cold shower and turned it into a framework that's transformed billion-dollar portfolio managers. Now listen, it sounds crazy, right? But until you understand the neuroscience behind it, it makes a lot of sense. Today, Evan's breaking down exactly how your morning routine is either upgrading or corrupting your decision-making software in your brain. Yes, Jory Jansen's here today. We're talking ketosis. We moved last week through intermittent fasting. We're going to talk some ketosis today for all you guys looking to shed some body fat, build some muscle, and are challenged with this whole idea of eating what to eat, what not to eat, so forth. And of course, two major announcements. The League of Business Athletes applications just went live last week. Guys, 100 days, 100 hours, 10 spots, one decision that changes everything. Here's the reality. You join us, you join myself and John and Marty and Christina and Jory and Adam and AJ, your life is going to change. There's no choice. We're going to put you through a 100-day program stretched over 365 days. Your life will change. How do I know? I went through it. True story. So the League of Business Athletes is out there. And of course, we are still going through no month. Yeah, see, the league was born out of my desire to say yes to something I needed to accomplish. Going through divorce, going through a tough point in my life. And what did I do? I needed to sit down and focus. I created a 100-day program with my friend AJ Zeglin, named it through the Business Athlete. I had to say no to a bunch of things in order to say yes. So listen, it's time to engage. Hit subscribe, drop a comment about the toughest decision you've made in your life and you're facing today. And let's engineer a morning that prepares you for it. But hey, let's move the attention over here to bring the crew up on stage and ask and see what everybody's wearing today. It looks like Johnny is sitting somewhere in California, who's wearing black. He's got the red painter cap on. Marty's got a nice light blue shirt on with the red headset. Christina's obviously in black on black. And of course, I'm in black on black with a nice hat, sunglasses on today. How's it going this morning, nation?
What's up with the painter's cap, for the love of Christ?
Isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Marty, help me, Marty. Marty, is that a painter's cap? You gonna put me on the bus too?
No, it is. He's worn it before, so I didn't really think much of it. Yeah,
I didn't know it was a painter's. I thought it was a
He's
painter's
talking about my cap. He's talking about my cap, not his own cap.
No, your hat. You got a painter's cap, man. That's what I call them. I think they're great. Jack,
that's called a beret. Let's get that straight up.
Oh, turn to the side, Keith.
Is it?
No, they're talking about my hat, Marty. Not
I do, smart Johnny. I do agree with you. I will interchange it in my head. Oh, fuck Anderson, man. Oh, pardon, yes, nation. It is a swearing show. Anderson. Okay, painter's cap, beret. It's one and the same, man. And Jack Dugan's in the comments going, Jack, is it a painter's cap or is it a beret? I don't know, man. I'm calling it how about a painter's beret, Anderson?
I thought it was a paperboy hat. Get
your paperboy hat too. Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus, I love it.
Like a golf hat.
Good morning, Caleb. Good morning, Jack. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, everybody in the comments. I see you guys all there today. And of course, we got Evan Marks joining us here in a moment. Yeah, so beret, paper hat, and we got Jack. Yeah. Oh, Dugan is just saying, Johnny, lose the hat. No, Jack, you don't want to have Johnny lose the hat. You have to throw some sunglasses on because his.
Look at that. That's a dome right there. That's a massive cranium.
I thought you're supposed to own it. Oh, you're supposed to own it.
I own that motherfucker. I own it to the point where I can't even get a fucking pro cap to fit. Fucker won't fit. I gotta wear the little things in the back where you click them together. That poor bastard that clicks the last one and it never stays straight. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy shit. That's right.
Listen,
that's when you see that real fat old man and you're like, Christ, it barely gets around the fat fucker's head. That's me.
You got a lot on your mind.
Oh,
Yeah, a
that's
lot.
it.
Big brain, big brain.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, I got. We also have Ron Retz here in the comments. I see you, Ronnie, on the horizontal stream. It's check it out, the new camera angle today. I'm a little organized today. I organized the lab this weekend. I got this computer here lifted up. I got this camera organized here, and now I
It's
can
like
see.
you're reporting live from the red carpet right now.
It's all with the camera lights behind me and everything. So we got Ron Retz here in the comments. We got Good Time here. Good morning, Good Time. Good to see you here as well, my friend. Good to have you there. But hey, listen, here's the decision that's going to mess with your mind. I got something for you guys. I want you to take two identical people, same skills, same potential, same opportunity. John, Marty, put them in the same high pressure moment. One makes the call that changes everything. And then Flynn, one hesitates, loses it all. Just loses it all. What's the difference? It's not the talent. It's not the luck. It's not even the event preparation. No, it's what happened in their first 30 minutes that they woke up. Yeah, because that first decision of the day, that glass of water you hydrate with, no, it's not about coffee or medication or cold showers or meditation. Never mind medication. It's who you become in the moments that matter. It's when your eyes wake up and you make the decision. You look at your wrist, you look at the corner, go, oh, do I got to get up or I got to hit the snooze button? Oh, I know. You got to get up. Johnny, break it down. What's the first morning decision that tells you someone's ready to level up? John Anderson.
First thing we got to do is we got to eliminate the thought of the snooze button. When the thought is not there, we're moving in the right direction. We got to stop it. Don't even entertain that shit anymore. So when you wake up, it's not a thought, it's action. You've already pre-planned this. Don't let the brain get in the way of the first 4 easy wins. The alarm goes off, feet hit the ground, wherever that goddamn phone is, push the button, turn it off. The water should be right there. Boom, there's your water. Start moving towards the kitchen, hit your coffee button, whatever you got to do. But this is all pre-planned. There's no thinking about anything. It's all predetermined.
Yes. Marty, right now, quick one. Somebody's rolling over thinking what they're going to do right now. Give them something to hang on to get their day started, brother.
What do you need to do to get those negative thoughts out of your mind? We can't wake up positive. It's impossible. No human wakes up positive. We all wake up groggy, cranky, or whatever you want to call it. Some people angry, maybe, snappy, irritable. What do you need to do to get on the other side of that? So it might be a podcast. It might be push-ups. It might be turn the light on. It might be put the scripture on or whatever. I don't know. Whatever you need to do, figure it out.
Yes.
Even a second alarm. I'll use that off an alarm. Wake me up 1 minute later. That second alarm goes off, says, hey, get your mind out of the gutter, dipshit. You're going down the wrong rabbit hole.
One more, Keith.
Yes, get it, brother.
I do the second alarm, but my second alarm says get your fat ass up or get your broke ass up or get your whatever, get your weak ass up. That works for me. I don't know. It might not work for some of y'all. You might not talk to yourself like that, but whatever message works for you, I do that.
And coming soon in the Business Athlete Performance Lab store, custom buttons and sounds with John Anderson's voice. Get your ass out of bed right now, motherfucker. Coming soon from Anderson. Hey, as we continue moving on the show here, we're going to bring in Evan Marks here in a few moments after the accountability check-in. Flynn, I had a conversation this weekend with a friend, and we were talking about language. We were talking about the power of language. And what struck me was a conversation, a moment just down the road from you between DeMar DeRozan and Drake. And the conversation where they might have dropped the P word. I word the pussy. And I was talking to my friend this weekend, and she's, man, I just don't like the word. It's an offensive word. And I was like, oh, but why is it an offensive word? Like some people like to eat pussy, but that's not the context we're talking about. We're talking about it in a bad way, like calling somebody a pussy. And then it struck me, Flynn, because obviously it was in the news, Drake and DeMar going at it. But let's talk about the power of communication for a few minutes, guys, and the power of words and the power of how a word that to some of us might seem so innocuous, but to some it bothers us. And then my friend says to me, she's like, but if it means something so much to that one person, but doesn't mean that much to you, do you have to say it? And she really made me think about it. I was like, well, yeah, like actually, if this human over there is bothered by it, it doesn't bother me, then why would I even have to use it? I don't know. Just
that human over there needs to be not so fucking affected by somebody spitting out a word. If you're going to let someone walk right up to my face, they could say whatever word they want, and I will not let that affect me, period. End of story. If it's someone I love, if it's my daughter saying, hey, Dad, you really fucked up on that, okay, I'm going to listen to that. But when it comes down to it, people can I'm going to choose whether I get affected by it or not. And I'm not going to let a word affect me.
Totally agree. I think when it comes to me, it's a matter of using these words like bitch, like pussy in reference to women as lesser than. It's not about, for me hearing that, I'm not triggered. We had the dude on the show the other week who said the F word. Okay, that got me. That affected me. Hearing men say pussy or bitch as lesser than, it doesn't affect me. But what it does, it perpetuates a narrative that it means lesser than. because that's the context within which you're using it. You're using it in reference to lesser than. So the way that I see it is, if you have a wife, if you have a daughter, if you have women in your life that I know that you don't think of as lesser than, why use a word that perpetuates that ideal?
And I got to be honest, guys, I was talking to my friend this weekend and she made me rethink about it. I was like, Mom, interesting way to look at it. Now, I do hear your point of view, John, because you've taught me how to react instead of respond. True story, man. I every single day.
You mean respond rather than react?
Yes, 100%. Since I've met you, I have made it a daily awareness. Man, I focus on it. So I was having this conversation yesterday and we were chatting about this and I was like, you raise a good point. I wouldn't want somebody referring, and I know, John, you will, and if you want somebody referring to your daughters or Terry as a pussy or a bitch in a demeaning, negative way, your back would go up. You're like, what the fuck? So I'm intrigued by both sides of it. I really am. And I think for me, it's more so the teaching an old dog new tricks. It opened my mind to it because I in the past would have probably thinking about it in a demeaning way. But since this person approached me with this, and I was like, yeah, I got a daughter. I don't know if I'd want somebody degrading my daughter that way. It really made me think about it, John and Marty. And I was appreciative of this conversation. And like I said to this friend of mine, I said, if there's one thing I'm learning and I'm really enjoying about getting older, Johnny, is I'm loving this idea of proving the world wrong, that you can teach an old dog new tricks, because I love learning new things.
And when let's just say that we're in a situation where, so this is a word, not a physical act. Physical act against one of my ladies, they got a problem on their hand. But if this is a word, I don't have to teach my wife. She understands. I've taught my daughters, listen, that person doesn't get it. You need to make sure that person stays over there. This is not a person you keep in your space. We don't waste our energy, our time with that person. They're uninformed. They're ignorant. We just get them out of our space. It's like we can choose to be affected by idiots, or we can choose to not be and keep them out of our circle.
And pal, there's certainly something to be said for what you've said. I can't disagree with that. And I think that, so where I continue to go through it, sometimes it's just as important, I think, to look in our own mirror and ask ourselves whether it's what's bothering us. Is it the situation? Because I don't want to be respectful, because I never want to be disrespectful of how somebody's feeling if something's bothering them, right? Yeah, and I know you're the same way, Johnny. But to me, it's just, I think listen, it's not black and white. I'm fascinated by it. I had the same conversation about cultural appropriation with this friend over the weekend. And that's what I love about this show. And that's what I love about this space, that we can have these conversations around curiosity, right? Because maybe there's not a right or wrong answer, but let's talk about it. Marty, what's your opinion? Before I jump with the accountability check-in, Marty.
Yeah, no, I'm with John and Christina here. They both made valid points. My thing is too, though, leaning with Johnny on, not that I'm not leaning towards Tina, but I'm with Johnny on the. You're good. Okay, I just want to make sure. You got to have tough skin, and you got to realize too, even if these people aren't calling you these names to your face, there are people talking behind your back. So you've got to be okay with it. You got to just learn to accept it, and you can't teach every old dog new tricks. Some people aren't going to change. They're going to find a reason to continue to talk like that, and it's just part of life. Some people are just idiots. It is what it is.
So one thing I'll add too, when it comes to my side of things, I look at it as not the receiver, but so I'm not actually looking at it as somebody who's having it called about them, or I'm just saying, as a person who knows and is intelligent enough to know, in this case, there's a number of different cases, but pussy and bitch is a reference to women as lesser than. Me, in terms of the words that come out of my mouth, I'm going to be intentional about how they were used, not because they hurt me, but because they do hurt other people, and I'm an empathetic person. I know I can't control what happens to everyone, and I know I can't control what happens out of everyone's mouth, but what I can control is what happens out of mine and what I'm perpetuating or not by saying words I'm saying.
And on that level, I want to add to this that I still believe in what I said, that I will choose not to be affected. I've taught my daughters to be affected, but I will be the first person to say truly sorry if I said something to offend someone and I recognize what I said offended them, because I don't ever intend to offend somebody. And if I make a mistake, I will happily apologize sincerely. So it's two sides of the equation. You got to have both. You can't just say, oh, just everybody needs to have thick skin and then just be laying this shit on the table and fucking people up. Yeah. You got to say, look, you got to have thick skin, and you got to realize that you got to keep these people away. But then at the same time, you got to own the fact that you are intentionally not trying to hurt people with words. And if you do, we all make mistakes. You sincerely apologize and right the wrong. So you got to have both sides of the fence. You can't just have one without the other, is the way I see it.
Great conversation about communication here in the lab from the conduit of communication. Keith Phyllis here, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I love having conversations like this, guys. Come to the lab, bring your topic. Let's have a safe space conversation where we invite everybody and have the dialogue and discourse go round and round. Listen,